Hello and welcome. My name is Vincent Faney. I am the producer, the director, and the host of the show Vinsanity Unplugged in Search of Game Changers. This show was premiered and was featured a few years before the pandemic, before the television station was shut down. And now I'm back. The station's open. I'm featuring new videos to the show. And for the hopes of a worldwide distribution, I have a YouTube channel also titled Vinsanity Unplugged, and you can find me on Twitter and Facebook and my page Walk with Vinsanity for affordable housing. And so many of you know that I've written books based on many life experiences. I was inspired to do this when I had to go to therapy because I was dealing with some very rough patch in my life with my former employer, the United States Postal Service, specifically the Gateway facility, specifically certain managers that purposely broke the law, thereby causing the death and loss of jobs of some of my coworkers. I was forced out of work for a while, and it's another reason why I decided to take the therapy of writing down my life and transforming my inner child's pain and angst and so forth into a more cohesive understanding and higher functioning. Okay, and then of course, being out of work, I decided to polish these books up and edit it for public consumption, hoping that I could increase some sort of income for myself and also create money for some of the charities that I like. Now, my need for added income for myself has diminished since I was forced to sell one property and was able to fix up the other property. Both properties needed new roofs. So I was able to pay off my debt, most of my debt at least, and I do have a meager government pension, and because I am a single guy without kids or a wife or alimony or anything like that, I am quite content to live a Spartan lifestyle and on the little income I make from my government pension, because I have very few needs or hobbies that require little or no money. So I'm fine. But the goal is still to acquire affordable housing, to assign this affordable housing to organizations that are better set up to take people in the community who are homeless or on the fringe of being homeless and find them affordable housing. Because housing is now too expensive for most people, and then increasingly becoming even too expensive for practically a growing population. Only for the wealthiest people in the top 1 or 2%, seem to be able to afford housing. So, in this video I'm talking about the book, The Lessons I Learned from Strippers or Exotic Dancers. You know, my first experience with strippers was when I was 14 at the Eagleville Fair in Pennsylvania, and I was a mature looking young man, a kid, so I could pass for 18, and I managed to finagle my way into a tent at the fair that was showing, where the dancers were for the adults, right? And I won't say what happened in the tent, because some things that occurred between me and a dancer is not fit, quite frankly, not fit for minors. Okay, so when I post this, I'm going to say this is not fit for minors. And then my second experience with exotic dancers was when I was in the Marines down in Juarez, Mexico, around El Paso, Texas, and then of course in Cherry Point, North Carolina. And then afterwards, there was exotic dancing places sprung up like dandelions on an untended lawn throughout Eugene and Springfield, Oregon, where a lot of the university girls, or even the girls who weren't students, a lot of women made some extra cash, or maybe that was their only source of income from exotic dancing. So I really dwelled into the total subculture because I was dating quite a few of the strippers. Some people think that's a derogatory term. That's a term they use on themselves. Exotic dancer is a little more romantic, but either term I think applies. And I was one of the guys that was not considered part of the mob that used to come in. I was the regular customers were considered customers, marks. But because of my specific situation, my unique, the way I looked, and because of the way I acted, I was one of those guys who was allowed entree into their inner circle and enjoy time after hours, or all of us would go to my friend's place or my place and we'd all party and so forth. Now when I say I partied, it was, I didn't indulge in anything besides alcohol. But I noticed that a lot of the women who danced, some of them were engaged in prostitution, others had boyfriends who were abusive, who basically were parasites on basically stole from them money. And a lot of these girls were into substance abuse or drug use. It was kind of heartbreaking. I learned a lot of lessons, got a lot of insights. And the lessons I learned, essentially drove me away from staying in that circle of people, because it wasn't healthy for my spiritual growth. It wasn't, and I noticed that a lot of these people weren't just simply dancing. You had a few dancers who were actually putting themselves through college, becoming chemical engineers and so forth. So in one night they made more money than in several weeks of working, so it allowed them more time to study. So there were a few that had goals. There were a few that were good mothers, and this extra income helped them to raise their family and put aside money for college funds for their kids, or get their kids braces. So I learned a lot of lessons, and I learned that a lot of the people that were stayed in that environment, in that culture, who didn't grow or refused to grow, ended up hanging out with people essentially, and the peripheral people that hung out around the strippers, people who were self-destructive, people who were not stand-up, people who basically bring you down. One of the many reasons why I moved away from dating strippers, I moved away from hanging out in such clubs. But you may enjoy this book. A lot of people found it insightful, titillating, so forth. So anyways, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook, please subscribe, please follow, make your comments, whether you like what you read, or agree with what I say, or whether you are totally appalled by what I say. Just, be free to speak about it. Because anything you think or say, to me, matters. It's all about different perspectives. My perspective isn't the only perspective, and it's not always the right perspective. So that's why I enjoy listening from others. So subscribe, follow, make comments, and please share. Even if you're appalled, share for the reason that you're and with other people, and give your opinion. You got to see this. This is horrible. This person is crazy. Or share it and say, hey, this person had an interesting time. Whatever. Just share. And if you don't feel confident enough to share on somebody's post, because some people may not want you to just post something on their page without their permission. Some people are just totally welcoming to any of their friends posting something on their page. I have some friends like that. They let anybody share, as long as it's not talking about insurrection or anything to deal with pedophilia or abuse to animals. Okay. So, and some people, if you're not sure, send it to their messenger. Give them a chance to determine if they want to see the video or read the book, and then if it's worthy for them to post on their page or to share with other people. This way we get more sponsors to the very capitalists that many people despise. We get these people to promote their business because they know they're going to get more exposure, and the monies that they give for sponsorship will help to acquire more housing so that more people could have an affordable place to live. Thank you for your time.